Hi, folks. Just a quick short video tonight about self-employment and the aspersions that are frequently cast towards people that are self-employed and how they must be, or are, sorry, no, it must be, but are dodging tax and are operating uninsured and whatever else. So, just like to say from the start, I have doesn't matter to me one way or another. Um, People say, well, you must have an opinion. Should people be working in salons? Should they be, um, should they be chair renting? Whatever. The thing is, my opinion is irrelevant because at the moment it is legal for you to, operate a salon, rent a chair or space in a salon, have a shed in your garden, a log cabin in your garden to do here, or trade out the back of your car. They're all legal. So what my opinion is doesn't matter. What I'd much rather do, as I've said, and all along, is have everybody operating profitably and legally. That's where I'm coming from. So how somebody operates is irrelevant. So there's currently a big debate going on across the industry, hammering self-employed and um, saying that it's disguised employment and one thing, and I don't actually think that the people that are saying that understand or know what disguised employment is. Um, as I said in the video that I did about self-employment, I've gone through th thousands of tribunal judgments, and very few of them are actually on um, employment status. I mean, there are obviously the Megan Gormans, the Ubers, the DHL couriers, that those sorts of ones where it was patently obvious. Sorry, the car wash one and Pimlico Plumbers as well. So you can patently see where they were wrong, and was it disguised employment? Well, I think it was disguised. It might have been misguided, um, but that's not for me to say. That's for the law to say. Um, as I say, what annoys me is the fact that you know all along self-employed have been vilified, and as I say, the law says they can. You can be self-employed. You can rent a chair. Now, undoubtedly, there will be bad actors, and amongst the chair rent fraternity or the salon operators that are renting chairs, there will be. But let's not forget when the national minimum wage defaulters or the tax defaulters lists come out, sorry, I think it's every 6 months they come out. You know, there's a stream of salons listed there um, that have, not been paying the national minimum wage or got caught not paying tax or whatever. So does that mean that every salon owner is, a tax defaulter in the same way that every self-employed person is alleged to be up to no good? It just it's wrong. It isn't how it is. Um, Sorry, I can see this right-hand earphone popping in and out the photo in half a head, so apologies for that. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I've got a thing that came from the government that's saying, people, it's a valid choice to stay below the VAT limit, the VAT threshold. It's not tax avoidance. It's perfectly legal to do in the same way that, a director of a limited company takes a salary and dividends. Now, if you ask them why they do it, it's for tax efficiency. If a limited company has three or four salons, they've done that for tax efficiency. Um, it may be that they've done it because they're getting 75 grand a year in rates rebates. Um, does that mean that they're criminals as well? No, it's just doing the best you can with the hand you're dealt. So I don't see that people in glass houses can start throwing stones. Um, as I say, there will be disguised employment out there, definitely. There are obviously bad directors. I mean, there's just last week, 3 added to the banned directors list have all been misappropriating COVID funds and loans banned for anywhere between, I think it was 7 and 12 years. So does that make every salon owner, or operator, sorry, or limited company director that took COVID loans, does that make them all, criminals? No, patently not. And I think we need to get away from that and focus on the things that are wrong in the industry, rather than the things that people would like to be wrong. The other thing is obviously, I don't know, you may or may not have seen it. There's a sort of image thing going around just now about Claire the salon owner and what Claire pays and what Claire doesn't pay. And apart from all the spelling and grammatical errors in it, it's patently untrue. So we keep getting told that, and I've seen a few graphics going around for salons. It's obviously been shared from one person who's editing it or giving it to other people to edit, and they're just repeating the mistruths. Now, that person, to quote I think it was Sam Steen at the Post Office Rise inquiry, when he looked at the chairman or the managing director of the post office and said, "You're either an incompetent or a liar. Which is it?" So I would say that about that person as well. So you can make your own mind up. Salons don't pay maternity pay. Salons claim back, or certainly small salons, 103%. So if they pay out £100 in maternity pay, they get £103 back. So that's that out of the water. Salons do not pay it. The next one is 13.8% national insurance. Now, I know a lot of salons, certainly in the Salon Logic group, when I mentioned this, their accountants hadn't been claiming it. They can claim employer's allowance, which is £5,000 up to £5,000 a year off your national insurance, employer's national insurance contributions, which I think the payment's 100. If your national insurance payments are under £100,000 a year, you can get that. So there's not many salons that are going to be paying that out, and it would mean that the wages would need to be £750,000 a year before you would lose the £5,000. So salons are getting that. So it's unfair to say that they're paying 13.8%. And let's not forget that the salon who has umpteen locations with different limited companies, because those limited companies are individual entities. So, if they have 5 salons, they will be getting £25,000 a year. So, let's just get that out of the way right away. So they're not paying the maternity pay. They're not paying 13.8%. There was another one that I thought of as well. Sorry, my mind's went blank. Actually, the second time I've recorded this. It'll come to me. So, it's unfair for them to be saying that salons are smaller salons are doing whatever, claiming and tax avoiding. Obviously they're going on about insurance. They have salons that are operating uninsured. Well, the fact of the matter is there is no law, there is no legal requirement for a salon to have public liability insurance. Now, 100%. The guys that I talk to and advise, I'll tell you, they're advised even, things like risk assessments. You don't need to do them as written ones if you don't have 5 employees. I always say write it, not because I sell them, but I've been there, I've done it, I've stood in front of a tribunal, and we've won them because of the paperwork. And I can guarantee you, if you've got all of that in place, somebody comes in, inspection for the council, whatever, you pull it all out, you put it in front of them, they will not stop and read it. They will see that it's right, thumb through it, looks, everything's there, which it should be. I'm not saying to con them. Have it all in place. And they'll just move on. But again, as I say, there's no legal requirement to have public liability insurance. That's why there's no legal requirement to display the certificate. I mean, it would be good practice to display the certificate, and it would be crazy not to have the insurance. But as I say, no legal requirement. So I spoke about that. Sorry, I disappeared there. So hopefully you're getting a feeling for what I'm saying. at the end of the day, the industry needs to come together. Yes. Are there bad actors in the industry? Definitely. Is everybody a bad actor? Definitely not. And as I say, when you're reading all these stories about what people are alleging they're doing and what they're paying, and at the end of the day, a self-employed person, a chair renter, pays tax and insurance just the same. They pay into a private pension. Um, this, an employer salon or whatever they called it, paying 40 grand a year more tax or whatever it was, more tax. It's so patently untrue if you actually do the calculations, and one size doesn't fit all anyway. I mean, obviously, sorry, that's the other one I was going to say. It was VAT. There's this thing about salons pay 20% VAT. They don't pay 20% VAT. They collect 20% VAT from their clients, and salons are handing over to the government somewhere in the region of 12.5 to 13.5%, maybe a percent either way of that. And that, when they brought in the flat rate, they didn't just, lick their finger one day and stick it up in the air and go 13%. They went through tens of thousands of VAT returns and worked out a sort of parameter. And that's how it works. That's how VAT inspections are triggered. They know what you should be doing. They're looking at businesses the same size. They're looking at, a salon with four employees or whatever, and what it's doing. They've got all of that figures, and this new supercomputer they've got can crunch numbers. They're saying that what would have taken a year before is taking, hours now to crunch. So they can go through and know that, a normal salon, but what's the word? Just that run-of-the-mill salon, they know what your percentage of rent's likely to be within a few percent. They know what your wage bill is going to be. So, you can't kid them. And that, as I say, that's how the flat rate came in. Obviously, it's to make administration easier for small businesses, but there's no way that they were going, well, actually, everybody pays us 16%. So why don't we just give, small salons 13%? We'll just give away 3%. It doesn't work like that. The government balances it out. So, as I say, salons aren't paying that. And I think it's disingenuous to clients to be putting out these sort of things. We're I can't remember, I've seen 2 or 3 of them, but we're an employer and we pay this and we support our local community and blah blah blah. Well, so does everybody. What a big deal. And if we really want to get down to the brass tacks here, they chose to do that. They chose to have leveraged income and have staff. They chose that path. They could just as easy not have it. But then why did they choose it? Well, because they wanted more money. If you wanted to say it, then you could say it's greed. And this idea of having people trying to force people back into salons, well, I mean, is that just greed and servitude? I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just putting forward a possible. It's exasperating. Day and daily, I see it. And I think people, as I always say, people are making big decisions, not just in business and life, based on these mistruths. At best, disingenuous, at worst, mendacious. There you have it. As I say, or as I always say, if be glad to read any comments. If you've got anything you want me to go over in a video, or you would like my opinion on anything, or you need any help, then feel free to drop me a message and I'll do my best to help you. Thanks for watching once again.